What's going on, guys? So we're out back with another video, and today I'll go ahead and talk to you guys about 10 things Supercell will probably never add into Clash Royale. When it comes to new features and cards, Supercell has rolled out a few, and some of these on this list are going to be ideas from the community. So, without further ado, and without wasting your time, the first one is going to be a tower that slows down incoming troops. In the Royale podcast, the developers mentioned that they were once working on a Ice Wizard tower. Nobody knows how the tower would have looked, but I'm assuming it would have been just a tower with a Ice Wizard standing on top of it. They tried the card out and even tested it a ton of times, but unfortunately, it changed the game a bit too much. It made games more slow-paced and promoted a much defensive gameplay style. And for those who don't know, Supercell hates defensive gameplay. This is why all the buildings have gotten a nerf and we haven't seen any new ones yet. The intention they have is a fast-paced game that you can enjoy, and even though some people can play defensive, it isn't that bad. In fact, if we were to ever have any tower that slows down incoming cards, it would be a nightmare. Spawner decks would rise and the meta would drastically change to play against the new building. Maybe in a future update we will see some more buildings, but a structure like the Ice Wizard Tower will never be a thing. Number 2 is going to be more chest slots. With all these new cards coming out and everybody progressing to a much higher level, a lot of people are beginning to wonder why we still only have 4 chest slots since the beginning of the game. We've gotten more deck slots, new chests, cards, game modes, arenas, but the chest slots have always remained the same. And also, on a side note, we have never been able to open more than 1 chest at a time, which kind of relates to this, so yeah. Well, there's one simple answer Supercell won't tell you, and that's money. It costs gems to open a chest if you haven't waited for the timer to finish, and by keeping it to only 4 chests and 1 at a time, this makes people gem 1 to keep on getting chests after attacking, or else you would have to get off the game and come back when there's a slot open. If we had, for example, 8 or 12, or even be able to remove a chest, there wouldn't really be such a need to gem these chests at all. The chest slot limit is also used to prevent people from progressing too quickly unless they have gems. So now you know why Supercell hasn't added more or changed the way the chest system works. Of course, they add more chests, they add more features, but this one has never been touched. On to number 3, we have a healer or a troop that repairs structures. No, not a heal spell, but close enough. The heal spell has already been announced to be coming soon, and even though it's been potentially delayed for a few months, it's still coming. But one thing we will never see for sure is a troop or a building that heals. In a Q&A Supercell held on April 17, they talked about why the heal spell was added after it being an idea that would never come to the game. They said that the heal spell seemed to help more on offense instead of defense, and that led them to talk about a card idea they had previously worked on. This was a builder type card that would heal structures, and yes, that was actually going to be a card in the game. But it didn't because of how much it helped in defending. So after the failure of that card, I think it's safe to say there are no plans to have a card or building that does the same thing. The heal spell, on the other hand, is just a spell, and it will help players exactly how the rage helps. The rage can be a scary card if used right, but if not, it can come at a huge elixir disadvantage. So even though the heal spell isn't out yet, I'm sure when it does, it definitely won't make the Royal Giant a golem. 4th on this list is an easier way to get gems. We all know for a fact it's easier to get stuff than it was in early 2016. It took me 6 months to get my first legendary, but nowadays it doesn't take that long. In fact, there's some players that started in late 2016 and already have half, if not all the legendaries. It's pretty crazy, but the ease of getting gems has not improved. It's certainly possible that Supercell may add another chest that gives gems or more achievements, but that's as far as things will go. Gems is the main in-game currency that is used to buy things to progress faster. Giving people more gems would make them spend less money on getting them. When it comes to a game like Clash Royale, Clash of Clans, Heyday, and Boom Beach, they're all free, but Supercell makes money every time you buy gems. It's how things work. So just because Supercell adds another fun way to get a little bit more gems, obtaining them will always be a hard thing to do, unless you buy them. Number 5, we have an Archer Tower. This one is a bit obvious, and I think you know why, but before we explain that, we have to go over why some players want this. Well, 1, because it's from Clash of Clans, and 2, we have no other building that shoots arrows like that one, besides the Crown Towers, which is the reason it won't get added. the crown towers. Even though the crown towers are guarded by a princess, they only shoot one arrow at a time. Adding an archer tower to the game is like placing a 4th tower in the arena. It's not necessarily needed. Would it be OP though? I don't think so. But I think when the developers were making Clash Royale, they intended for the towers in the game to be archer towers. Or else we would have seen them in the game at launch, much like the cannon and other defenses. It would be another building we don't need, and plus it would completely kill certain buildings already in the game. Moving on to number 6, we have custom taunts. The idea of having more taunts is okay. Maybe they'll eventually add some more, but we don't know just yet. One thing that certainly won't get added though is custom taunts, or a way to make our own. This sounds a bit fun, and to be honest, I would love to have this, but the problem here is some players would create rude or inappropriate taunts. We always have those people, and I think we can all imagine what could be made out of a taunt that you can design. If something like this was to be ever implemented to Clash Royale, Supercell will need to review every taunt made before allowing it, kinda like Twitch emotes. The reason for this is because if something were to slip by, since the game is suitable for children, Supercell could get sued by a parent. Of course, this is only the worst case scenario, but they have to take precautions and think ahead of time before doing something as big as this. Number 7 is going to be donating legendaries. The dream of doing this has always been great, but unfortunately there is a very low possibility this will ever be possible. The game currently has 4 rarities: common, rare, epic, and legendary. Just a few months ago we could never donate epic cards, but then they added this Epic Sunday, the only day you can donate a epic card. But a legendary card is much more rare. They are hard to get, and they also cost a ton of gold. Donating a legendary is like giving someone 40,000 gold. Not only that, but it could also make one player have all these high level legendaries, and that would be obviously a bit unfair. People in Arena 10 don't commonly have level 3 legendaries, and there's a reason for that. I mean, it's possible, but you don't see it every day. Also, the way it would work would be messed up. We only get one legendary once in a while, and requesting one in the clan is like asking for $1 million. Nobody is going to donate unless they really don't need that certain card. In one of my most recent videos, I did discuss trading legendaries, but that was a different topic, and that idea can potentially be in the game. 8th on this list is the air defense. In Clash Royale, we have an option to go with air decks, ground decks, or a mix of both. And everyone usually goes with both, because if you can't defend against an air deck or vice versa, then you're toast. So the air defense, well, there's only one huge problem. What would it do when it's not defending air? We have cards that kind of do something similar: the cannon, bomb tower, mortar, and a whole lot of other cards that can't shoot air. But a unit that only shoots air is different. There's way more ground cards than air, and a lot of people will be bringing in air defense just to defend something small like minions. Of course, there's a baby dragon and a lava hound, but there's a dozen other ways to counter those troops. Plus, in order to add a building like that, air cards will need to get a buff, and it would take things to a whole nother level. It's crazy to think that an air defense can ruin a game like this, but you know, that's how things work. And I think the game is so much better off without it. Number 9 on this list is going to be a wizard tower. Man, basically a bomb tower that can also shoot air and do splash damage. Wouldn't that be great? Well, it probably would, but it would most likely also break the game. We've talked about the archer tower and the air defense, but how about a wizard tower? There's a reason why the bomb tower in Clash Royale doesn't shoot air, and if it did, they would have to probably increase the elixir cost and decrease the damage by a lot. But that's just if. I'm pretty sure Supercell has tried it out and they probably didn't like it. If you haven't got the hint, then it would just be a little too OP. Imagine just a wizard standing on a tower blasting everything in its way. Sure, it sounds pretty amazing to have a card like that, and I'm sure if you were using it, you would feel like a boss. But if you were going against it, then that's a different story. After all though, I think the game is pretty balanced when it comes to defending air and ground. We have buildings that do certain things, and we have a log, zap, arrows. And much like the air defense and archer tower, a woods tower is just something Clash Royale does not need. And finally, on to the last one, we have a wall card. It doesn't really have to be a wall card, but you know, Clash of Clans has walls, and you know, I don't know, it makes sense. But any card that blocks out another card's way and purpose has already been ruled out. It sounds cool, and I guess Supercell could make it work, but the problem is it would change the way people pick their tanks and ground cards a bit too much. Cards already have a tiny space to walk by, and some troops don't even fit. Like, You know, sometimes you have a giant and a musketeer going across the bridge, and the musketeer is just trying to squeeze by. You know, I don't think we need any more restrictions in the arena as far as that. So yeah, but that's probably going to be my shortest one. There's not much to say about a wall card. You know, it's pretty self-explanatory. And yeah, so I think that should be it for today's list of the 10 things that will never be added into Clash Royale. If you guys did enjoy, don't forget to comment below your opinions on some other things that we'll probably never see. Also, leaving a like and commenting on this video will get you an entry to my giveaway. I forgot to mention that in the beginning of the video, but I think you all know that by now, so just letting you guys know again. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Please rate, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Tell me what you guys think below in the comment section on YouTube. See you all in the next one. Peace!